I was going on, 2 to 3 day benders every week. I was just a shell, really, just a shell. My skin looked grey. I didn't care about anything. I looked terrible. Emotionally just numb, completely numb from all the alcohol. This could kill me by Christmas.
Today's guest is Lee. He is a man who spent 2 to 3 day cocaine and alcohol benders, drinking a full liter of gin, 6 to 8 beers, and using 3.5 grams of cocaine in one session. And he just hit 1 year clean. He lost his business, his home, his reputation, and moved across the world to New Zealand to save his own life. I am so excited to get right into this. Lee, let's go right into that life. What did a 2 to 3 day bender actually look like for you physically, mentally, and emotionally?
Wow. It obviously progressed to that level. It started relatively, manageable, but it was something that I'd do maybe every few weeks. And this was back in really like 2015. And it progressed to the level over maybe an 8 or 9 year period where I was going on, 2 to 3 day benders every week. And then it was, starting to impact everything really, finances, my business, relationships. At first, it wasn't obviously ideal what I was doing, but it was a little bit manageable. Every 4 to 6 weeks, I'd go on a little bit of a bender. Slowly, it progressed and got sort of worse and worse over time. That was the nature of it for me. And towards the end, it was I pretty much I'd lost everything really. I was just completely off the rails. Yeah, it's a terrible place to be. And it just, as I said, it progresses and progresses, not like a sudden thing where everything goes wrong straight away. It was over the years. It just slowly chipped away at me, mentally, physically, emotionally, just chips away at you to really had nothing left, not many options left.
I can definitely relate to that one. So describe the worst bender, the one that you might still think about.
I think there were a lot, especially towards the end, the last few months, because going into too many details, I'd lost my business, which was really my whole life. I'd built it up over years and years. I was really good at what I did, but because I was constantly using cocaine, alcohol, it really impacted that. People didn't want to be around me. A lot of people started to know about my sort of problems, and I got to the stage where I was using more and more just to escape the pain of losing my business, of losing everything. And got to the point where I didn't know what to do. And thought, I'm going to book a flight to New Zealand and just give this one last chance, because at that point I'd already done quite a few years of therapy, which was really helpful. I'd done a full 30-day rehab where you stay there for a month, which is it helpful? A little bit, but the problem was with that, I went back to the same environment, around the same kind of people, toxic connections, cocaine available all the time. And I think one of the big things I've learned is that environment is so important to getting clean, If you stay in a toxic environment, it's virtually impossible, especially when, if you're using alcohol and cocaine together. So I come to New Zealand last November. And it was about 2 months before that, no, maybe 6 to 8 weeks before that, everything had crumbled. Like my business had gone, lost all like my relationships, good friends, just they didn't really want to be around me anymore. My whole life was just crumbling and I was completely off the rails. 2 3 day benders. I was owing thousands of pounds to people as well for like cocaine, which obviously not a great place to be. And
No.
I was looking at it and thinking, if I don't get out of here, this could kill me by Christmas. That was around October. I thought I'd need to get out of this environment. This is going to kill me. So that's when I had a little bit of money that family member was looking after me for me. So I used that, booked a flight to New Zealand and just said, look, I'm going to start again from scratch. And I'm not going to lie, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Has been the hardest thing, but the most worthwhile, starting again on your own is, it can be pretty brutal at times,
Yeah. Where did you move from?
So I was from the UK.
Okay.
So quite a big move. So, it was something, it saved my life. I don't think I'd be here if I didn't move because the benders I was going on, maybe wouldn't have woken up, could have had a heart attack or something like that, especially when you're using that much alcohol and cocaine. It's obviously incredibly hard on the body. And
Yeah.
I think I was at the point where something was going to go drastically wrong,
Mhm.
drastically
So
wrong.
how did your body feel after 72 hours awake and using?
Just like I was just a shell, really, just a shell. I mean, physically, I've always trained. Always trained a lot. I've always kept myself in good shape. I've done martial arts pretty seriously for a long time. I wasn't. I didn't look well at the time. I didn't look well. My skin looked grey. I didn't care about anything. I looked terrible. My clothes looked worn out. I looked worn out. I looked a mess. Yeah. And emotionally just numb, really. Just completely numb from all the alcohol I was going on, 2 to 3 day benders every week, cocaine. Because when you're stuck in that cycle that I was in, you're either using, recovering from using, or planning to use. There's no real time to develop a life. That's what your life
Right.
starts to revolve around.
Yeah. So what role did alcohol play in triggering the cocaine?
I mean, so I was never really like a drinker. I've never been into like the pub or anything like that. I mainly enjoyed, to use that term loosely, but I'd use the alcohol with cocaine. I think it makes, is it cocaethylene or something? So it's even worse for you. Together, they're really bad. Together, they're even worse. I'd be drinking, do a line, drinking, do a line. And I think if you're using coke, you can end up drinking a lot more as well. So the binges just become longer and longer. I'd be drinking all night, and then I remember some days there was a supermarket near where I'd live, and when it opened at 6 in the morning, I'd be going over there buying more alcohol, and then as I walk back to my place, to be a drug dealer pulling up with more cocaine. And that's already after being on it for all day. Crazy, just terrible. But I'm so glad, grateful now that I've got this year clean and just managed to turn it around. It's a bit surreal, sometimes, if I'm honest. It's a bit
Yeah.
surreal. Yeah.
How many years did you go through these benders?
Say about 5, 6 years, maybe 5 to 6 years. Yeah, 5 or 6, around that. It just progressed over that time. At first, it would maybe be, like I said, it would maybe be a Friday night every Friday, or no, sorry, no, it started every 4 to 6 weeks. That then progressed to every Friday, and before I knew it, it was like, I'll do it on a Tuesday night as well. And then it just went from there. And then there was no kind of boundaries at all. It was just, yeah, chaos, absolute chaos.
Well, I mean, it just compounds. There's no really stopping it until you're ready and want to stop it. You think that you're going to be able to, well, I'll just do this every so often, but it takes us right back to where we came from. Or
100%. And yeah, I mean, every time I'd be sort of doing it, I'd just regret it after. What have I done? I've done it again. Why do I keep doing this? And I'd been trying everything. I'd had quite a lot of therapy, which did help. I'd had a lot of therapy. I did the full rehab. I think ultimately it come down to my environment. My environment become very, very toxic. I was in so deep with what I was up to. I needed to get away from it all, and it's the best thing I've done, really. Very difficult if you're in a toxic environment, especially when cocaine is involved. It's you need to get out of that, basically.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but what was so toxic about the environment? Can you kind of give us a
Yeah, well, I mean, so I had a business. I was quite sort of well known for what I did, and there were quite a lot of people with, let's just say, kind of like a vested interest in me failing, not doing too well, and a lot of jealousy around with what I did as well. There was a lot of jealousy around it because I was quite successful with what I did. Won't go into too many details on here, but there were a little bit of jealousy, and that can create a very toxic environment if you want to get clean and sober. And it got to a point where I need to get out of this, and I need space and time to be able to heal myself. And I couldn't do it there. No matter what I did, I could have had hours of therapy every day, more rehab. It wouldn't have mattered in that environment. I had to leave, basically. Yeah, on reflection now, it's the best decision I made.
it's a I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, It's a huge one. I
Oh,
remember a couple times where I don't know, this was years ago before I was married. I would just wanna escape. Like, why can't I just leave the state and start over? Because my
yeah.
drinking just was getting so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the toughest thing I've done, to be honest, starting again on my own. It's incredibly lonely at times and stuff like that, but, it's been something I've had to do. I've had to literally rebuild myself from the ground up, really, my whole identity as a person, everything. It's been brutal, but it's something that's had to be done in order for me to get clean and sober when there wasn't really another option left, especially after I've, already done a rehab, done loads of therapy. Yeah, the environmental change was key.
I think it's a very good topic to talk about environment, and, I mean, I wanna get more into that, but
Yeah.
did did anyone try to save you, or had everyone just stopped trying?
Yeah, there were people still trying to help, but some of these people were very connected to other circles who didn't want me doing too well because of their own personal interest. It was just very, very toxic. And I thought, I had to just leave basically. I didn't even tell anyone I was going. My business had sort of collapsed. I just made the decision to leave. I literally left, became uncontactable, changed my phone number, didn't tell anyone where I was going. And yeah, that's what I had to do. But I
Yeah.
felt a sense of relief as soon as I booked that flight to New Zealand. And when I left, I had 2 weeks sobriety because I remember going on the last bender. I thought, right, let's just book this flight. And I was telling myself, right, I've got to get at least 2 weeks sober clean before I get to New Zealand. I need something to work with. Don't want to get off the plane off the back of a bender.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 weeks clean when I arrived in New Zealand, which was, yeah, yeah, went from there, really.
But how did you get to 2 weeks clean?
Those first 2 weeks were really just grit, determination, and just planning New Zealand, really. I was getting myself prepped for that, trying to sort that, arrangements for that. Yeah, and just telling myself, right, let's just get through this first 2 weeks. Then you get on the plane with 2 weeks clean and work from there. I still continued my therapy. I still had my therapy maybe every week at the start, and now it's just maybe I have a check-in every couple of months or something like that. So I still had that little bit of support, but not loads, if I'm honest.
Did you
It
have
was
anyone left?
a little bit of family, but even that, it's the dynamics of my family relationships have really changed a lot. Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's like my family were quite supportive, and I always thought when I got clean and sober, my family relationships will just improve massively. But they didn't because
Yeah,
I've changed so much in the space of a year. It's like they can't keep up with the change. They still see me as this struggling guy, you know?
I do know.
Very, yeah, it's incredibly, it's a bit surreal, really, because I always assumed I'll get clean and sober, family's going to be great, but it's kind of gone the opposite way. Feel more disconnected from them, um, because yeah, they're used to seeing me as this struggling guy, and I don't think they've caught up with the level of change that I've made in a year, if that makes sense.
100%. I can definitely relate to all that.
Yeah,
Because we do
yeah.
change, right? We do change, and then they don't know the new us because they're not staying up with us.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, 100% correct. And a lot of my family were always had to step in to save me. There was always a crisis. I mean, every single week something was happening where family would need to step in to save me, if you like. And obviously now there is none of that because I don't live like that anymore. I live a clean life. There's no crisis for them to step into. And it's like they don't understand their roles changed, if you know what I mean. They
Yeah,
don't need to step in now to save me. And yeah, it's created a difficult dynamic that I hope can change over time.
I do know. Yeah, I could go on and on about that I
Really?
mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So when you stepped off the plane in New Zealand, who did you hope to become?
My first goal, really, when I got here, at first I was just really pleased to be away from that toxic environment. And my mindset was, right, let's just get through the first month. I remember I had a diary. I still do a bit of journaling, but I had this diary. I would just tick off the days. I just wanted to get to that month. And I'd never even got past a couple of weeks before. So when I got my first 30 days clean, it gave me a lot of confidence I thought, right, I can do this. I've got 30 days clean. I've never managed that before. Something's happening. If I can get to 30 days, and then I hit the 3 months, the 90 days. And I think after that, I stopped counting any days. I used to be a bit obsessed with the days at first, but I don't even count them now. It's like, whatever. It's just, yeah, I don't live like that. As simple as that. I don't live like not an addict anymore. But once I hit that first 3 months, it really did give me the confidence to think, right, okay, we can do this. I can do it. And I'd never had that feeling before. I always sort of doubted myself, thinking, God, I don't know if I can get out of this. Really don't. But when I hit that first 3 months, yeah, it was big confidence boost.
So, did starting over alone feel like freedom or did it feel like punishment?
Really good question, that. I'd say both, to be honest with you. Yeah, it definitely freedom away from those toxic environments, and it's given me the space that I desperately needed. So in that respect, yeah, definitely. But also sometimes when the loneliness, and I see other people with, like, lots of friends, good networks of people and everything like that. And I sort of not envy it, but I have to tell myself, no, I've only been clean and sober a year. I will get there. It takes time rebuilding a life, I have to remind myself of that I'm only a year clean and sober, and I am rebuilding from scratch. And it takes time to meet new people, build new relationships. Yeah, that's been the most difficult thing by far. That side of things. Just don't feel like I have many meaningful relationships, that will come in time, I know. So, yeah.
But I just want to touch on the fact that you said you see these people with, networks and whatnot. But
Yeah.
sometimes we can view these people as having these great networks. I mean, you could have
Yeah,
viewed
yeah.
me as having a great network, but you don't know. You left toxic, and, some of these networks are very toxic. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very easy to misjudge things, isn't it? Yeah. I think sometimes I'd need to be a little bit realistic as well and tell myself I'm only a year clean and sober, and I have had to rebuild from zero. And that does take a lot of time to rebuild a life from nothing.
yeah. But not only, I mean, being a year sober is absolutely, I mean, I wouldn't put an only a year sober there because a lot of people don't even get to a year. But not only did you get sober, you completely changed your whole entire environment. So
Absolutely.
you have this whole different level than a lot of us do because I don't think I've really talked to too many people that have moved entire like
Yeah.
countries. I mean, you
Mm.
went like way south.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
I mean,
It's a
not
crazy
not
story,
just a
really.
yeah. So, I mean, it's not, you didn't just hop on a plane and fly 2 hours to your new destination. You really changed your whole entire not only did you get sober, you're changing your whole entire life. So, that whole first year of how did you manage to stay sober outside of the grit?
I think the first thing for me was I thrive on routine and structure. And that was the first thing I developed as soon as I got here, good routine, structure. I've always been into training, martial arts. So I developed a good routine around that. Straight away when I got here, do a lot of hiking, still made sure to keep on top of my therapy. So I'd have my therapy session every week, just putting in solid routine and structure. Even stuff like, waking up, going to bed at the same time. I need that. And that's when I thrive, when I got good routine, good structure. So I just started, as soon as I got here, just started to build routine and structure. And I did have there was a friend of mine here connected through the martial arts world, and I teach quite a bit at his gym. So that's given me quite a bit as well. He's got a gym here in New Zealand. So yeah, I do that as well, which is cool. Meet a few people through that. And that again gives me routine, structure, purpose.
Yeah, I've heard martial arts is an absolute amazing thing for people in addiction.
Yeah. I mean, I've been at it over 20 years, quite a high level. I mean, it definitely can. It definitely can help. I mean, didn't solve any of my problems, but it can definitely help with structure and structure routine for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But prior to that, you didn't really want, I mean, you were just masking underlying pain through, those 20 years of doing it. It's not like you went after it to get sober and clean.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, going back, like my whole identity was really based around martial arts. I was very deep into it. Whereas now it's a smaller part of my life, and I'm much happier like that. I think that kind of helps in a way with my whole sobriety, just having it as a smaller part of my life. It was my whole identity before, and that kind of was sort of torn down, if you like, because of the nature of the problems that I had. So now I have a smaller role involved in it, which I love, much better.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people kind of question when I say that, my guests drank this much or that much.
Mm.
Can you paint us a picture of how much you were actually drinking and what that looked like?
Yeah, so as I said, it would always be with the cocaine. So I'd probably go through maybe like a liter of gin over the night. I mean, I'd always go straight through the night. I wouldn't sleep because obviously I'd be using cocaine. So it'd be more a 2-day thing. Be like a liter of gin and then a lot of cans of beer. I actually lived above a wine shop, which was terrible. I'd be going down there every few hours, just topping up on God knows what bottles of beer and everything. And yeah, not good at all. Horrible flashbacks. When you're using cocaine, it's you end up drinking a lot more. So yeah, terrible place to be.
Yeah, I dated a guy back in my early 20s, and he would always turn to that so he could drink more. And I was always so terrified of drugs. And here I
Yeah.
am drinking one of the worst drugs. And, you learn, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, 100% right with what you say that, because when I was in rehab, I did the 30-day rehab. And when I looked around the room, the one that had messed everyone up the most was alcohol, like worse than any other drug. And you see some of these guys, in their 50s, and they just look knackered, worn out. And it's
Yeah,
obviously the alcohol over many years.
right. I had some acquaintances, they went to Eugene, Oregon for a football game a couple years ago, and they were talking about the crackheads and people doing heroin out in the
Yeah, yeah.
parking lots and stuff, and then just the difference in how you see all these drunk people stumbling down the sidewalks,
Mm,
and but they're they're better than those that are shooting up, or
yeah,
smoking
yeah, yeah.
crack or whatever. I don't know. But it's just such a weird dynamic to think about now that we're sober, right? That know, just penalize and demonize all these other drugs, but yet the one that's legalized, it's completely okay to act a fool on and cause so much chaos and wreck so much.
100%. I mean, I think it's way worse for you than stuff like weed. I mean, I think in America, weed's legal now, isn't it? But
Some
like,
some places.
yeah, I mean, I don't touch anything obviously anymore, but I've always thought with alcohol, cocaine, you can like, destroy your life in a night. With weed, you're not going to be able to do that. Yeah, that's illegal in the UK. I don't really get it. But yeah, alcohol, cocaine, you can 100% ruin your life in a night.
Yeah.
Just
It's crazy.
terrible
I mean, I'm
decision
not
making.
I'm not saying, go do one over the other,
Yeah,
obviously, but
yeah.
it's
No, for
just it
sure.
opens your mind and your eyes to the world that we live in and how growing up, I was terrified of any like any drug, cigarettes, whatever, anything
Yeah,
besides
yeah.
alcohol, I was terrified of. But, the more I learn about alcohol, the more I just realized that I was consuming a drug the whole entire time and
Yeah,
wrecking
yeah.
my whole entire life since I was 15, 16 years old.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
here I am just judging everybody else for you smoke meth. Oh, you do coke. That's gross. You smoke cigarettes. But here I am just taking
Yeah,
shots.
yeah. Yeah, it's obviously very socially acceptable, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure what
Yeah.
it's like in America, but in the UK, there's a massive drinking culture, drug culture.
Yeah. Same
Yeah.
here. I think the everybody when they comment, they say, "Well, it's the culture here." I think it's the culture everywhere. Alcohol is just a worldwide culture. It's a
Mhm.
worldwide, what would we call that? An epidemic.
Yeah, yeah.
It causes so much chaos. It's a $1 billion industry. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
the U
I just read something. One of my clients sent me a article from Germany
Mm.
that NA beer is becoming a huge hit over there now.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so I don't know. But sorry, back to you. I mean,
No, no.
just the drug and alcohol part,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
No,
So
absolutely.
the Coke did help you I mean, get to those level of bottles that you were drinking.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They went together for me, obviously. Yeah, just incredibly toxic combination. I just hope that I've stopped at a relatively young age and my body I live really well now, train, look after myself, everything like that, eat well, and hope I haven't done any longer term damage.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 38.
We're the same age. Living out the rest of our 30s sober. Look at
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what's the biggest difference between 1 year cleanly and the man you were in the benders?
It's feel like that person who was a year ago, they just don't even exist. I just can feel like a completely different person and feels like a ghost, to be honest. It's really strange. Yeah, I look back at some of my old behaviors, the way I was, and yeah, I feel like slowly over the last year, that old person has just kind of, disappeared. That's what it's felt
Yeah.
like. It's what it's felt like for me. Yeah.
I mean, I know you don't want to. I just really want to know what happened back home. Was there internal battles that you were struggling with, a specific relationship that caused some emotional chaos? Like where did it all go upside down to get you to such a toxic place?
So obviously I'll touch on it briefly. I was obviously struggling with alcohol, cocaine. I was battling I won't go into too much detail in here, but kind of like sex addiction as well, that it all linked together for me. I won't go into too much detail on here, but I think for a lot of blokes who are struggling with coke, alcohol, they all go together. They're all just escapism, basically. That's what it's for, whether it's
Yeah.
cocaine, alcohol, sex, addiction. I mean, unfortunately for me, all three went together, which is not particularly ideal. Makes it even more difficult to recover from when you're dealing with multiple addictions. But I think the sort of sex addiction for me was there once I started adding in like cocaine to that, and it just took off. But I think there was maybe underlying issues with myself, how I saw myself as a person. Didn't like myself. Issues with relationships, definitely. I had a lot of that, and that's a lot of stuff I've had to work through the last year. Learning about more, how to have healthier relationships. I've done so much work on that. So yeah, I think I had a lot of underlying issues around that, and that's what sort of led me down that path, really. Definitely. Well, yeah.
You married?
No, no, never been married. Had from girlfriends over the years, a couple of long-term relationships. Never really felt present in those relationships. I was always preoccupied with addictions, with behaviors and substances. I actually met a new girlfriend when I got to New Zealand after a month, and we were together. Well, we split up a few weeks ago, but it was the healthiest relationship I've ever had. Although we split up, unfortunately, I can say it was the best relationship I've had, just in terms of being present in the relationship. And never really had that before. Always been preoccupied and never really allowing myself to relax in a relationship or be vulnerable in a relationship. It's all stuff I've had to kind of work through, really, to put these old addictions and behaviors down.
I like that you brought that up, that your first sober relationship was one of the best ones, because I think that's where a lot of people struggle is we put everything above our partner when we're in addiction and we're abusing. And then we realize everything that the alcohol was taking away once we quit drinking, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, our relationship was just built on alcohol and chaos," but
Yeah,
you get a
no,
fresh start at, relationships now.
absolutely. And it's not fair on the other person as well. I had a
Right.
couple of relationships before where my partner, they weren't into anything like drugs, alcohol, actually really clean living, but I was still using in kind of secret. And now I can reflect back. It's not fair at all on the partner. It's just the relationship's not going to work if you're behaving like that behind someone's back, if you're using, drinking, sniffing. It doesn't work.
Yeah, being a closet user is
Not at
not
all.
gonna solve your problems.
No, not at all. As I said, I've found I've had the healthiest relationship I had for 8 months, but it's not been easy. It's been hard because I've had to work through things in the relationship without going back to old behaviors, you know? I've had to
Yeah.
work through them clean and sober and sit with that discomfort. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like what she's saying there. Well, no, I can't just go and use. I need to deal with it with a clear mind. And that's what I've had to keep working through, you know, sort of building up that kind of emotional muscle, if you like, to be able to work through things.
Yeah.
That's,
That
which is a first for me.
I like how you say emotional muscle because that's a really good one, and I try to tell people that you need to exercise your mental strength to
Mm,
build that muscle, but I like the emotional muscle because it's so true. Things are going to be uncomfortable, right? You're not going to want to hear
absolutely.
things, you're not going to want to talk about things, you're not going to want to deal with things, but you have to build that emotional muscle to get through it because the alcohol's not going to solve the problem for you. I mean, why just
No,
keep going back to something to mask?
exactly. Yeah. And that's one thing I've been just working through massively that this last year, learning to sit with things, work through them. And normally after a day or two of that, I feel a lot better. My head's a lot
Yeah,
clearer. I'm glad I've worked through it. And it gives me that confidence to think I can do it. I don't need to go back to any of these old coping mechanisms. I can, live a normal life essentially, not have to go back to old ways, which
right.
is which is great.
What does working through it look like for you?
I think in terms of the relationship side of things, I'd say just like communication has been an opening up. If there's any kind of problems, I was never really good at that. And obviously it's uncomfortable communicating and when you don't want to in a relationship, but I've
Mhm.
had to learn that. It's been a steep learning curve for me, but one that I've had to go through. So yeah, I'd say communication massively. There's been a lot of times rather just shut down, maybe not speak about something that's uncomfortable, but kind of had to push myself a bit and, speak about it, work through it. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I love that you're touching on all these things because these are things that I don't really talk a ton about. I mean, maybe in my members community I talk a little bit more about this, but I really enjoy that the communication part in sobriety is uncomfortable, but you just learn to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the relationship side of things, like some people will say, oh, in your first year of sobriety, been clean and sober, whatever you want to call it. They say, don't get into a relationship, focus on yourself. I got into my relationship, I think 3 months in, I really liked her and I thought, yeah, let's just see how it goes. And so, I mean, I guess it can work for some people and maybe not for some.
Yeah. I think I've heard that too, don't make any drastic changes in your first year.
Yeah, yeah, I think I've made
And
every
here you
change.
are.
I know it's not a textbook way to get clean and sober at all, but it's what's worked for me and what I've had to do. Yeah, it's just
But there is no textbook way to get sober.
this is
I
this
mean,
is the thing with it.
people can thump a book at you all they want.
100%.
They can thump their way at you and tell you that your way is wrong, but if it got you sober and you're thriving, it's your way.
Absolutely, and I think that's a really important thing you just touched on there. And I agree. There's no one way to get clean and sober. There's lots of different stuff that can work, whether that's maybe rehab, therapy, 12 steps, coaching, whatever. I mean, I think you have to find what's going to work for you, or take bits from different ideas and make your own recovery. Really, there's lots of stuff out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the way to go with it. Not
I mean,
everything's going to work.
you did one of the things that are a huge deal, and it is change your environment.
Yeah, yeah, I did that. With the therapy I had, I'm not going to say that didn't help because it has really helped a lot. Even there's little bits from the rehab that are still useful. So ultimately, the environment had to change for me.
Yeah. Mm, That sometimes I know some people are going to say, well, I can't just move. Well, I mean, I realize that, but you can change your environment without moving. You can change who you are in, who's in your circle, who's in your outside circle. I mean, you can change a lot of things without having to move across the country. But
Absolutely.
I mean, you were able to move, and there are people that are able to move. It's just
Yeah,
a big decision.
it is. I get not a lot of people would be willing to do that as well. I think it depends how deep you're in as well and what your problems are. It's not, as we said, there's no real one way, but I was extremely in a deep, deep problem, and there was no real other way for me apart from moving. I wouldn't have been able to get clean in that environment.
And there had to have been a big part of you that actually wanted this for yourself, to be sober and clean. Because I know some people, when they move out of their environment, to think that their life is going to be better because they moved a state
Mm.
or whatever, but they just go back to their same original habits. I mean, what was the point of changing your life if you're not going to change your life?
That's the thing for me. Coming to New Zealand, it wasn't like I get to New Zealand, my life's changed. It gave me a clean slate, no toxic environment. It's like, so I did that. And then, well, after that, the ball's in my court. I have to start doing the work on myself as a person, you know? It's not a ticket to changing your life. It gave me a clean slate, basically. That's all it did. I then had
Yeah.
to, yeah, get on with it myself, really. So.
And then when did you start your YouTube channel? How?
So I started it maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I wanted to start one for a while, and I was super nervous about it. I remember making the first video. I was thinking, "Oh my god, I don't know if I can do this." I've been doing it 3 or 4 months now. I feel a bit more confident doing it. I like doing walking videos out and about with my gimbal. Yeah, I'm still really early days with it. It's nice to be starting something from scratch and learning from I don't know anything about it, a little bit more than what I did know, but it's, yeah, I enjoy it for sure.
And your YouTube is Sober Strength.
Yeah.
And so you do the walk and talk videos. I used to do those. I mean, I've kind of dabbled in a few different things. I started about 50 days into my sobriety.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of people that have been with me from the beginning have definitely seen huge changes.
Nice,
And
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it is nice to be with a community while you're learning yourself again. It's kind of an outlet. I mean, I don't know about you, but my YouTube channel, I think, is a huge part of my sobriety, because without it, I mean, I don't have the outlet if I didn't have my channel. I mean, I get to write my posts about how I'm feeling and just get it off my chest. I meet people that I can vent to if I'm having a bad day,
Yeah, yeah.
or do a video on it. I mean, there's just something that is so powerful in having a YouTube channel and building that community, because I think, yeah, changing your environment and having a community are huge in sobriety.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think I can see how the YouTube channel really helps you and everything. Yeah, I'm super glad I started it. I was, say, quite nervous at first, thinking, "Oh, I don't know whether to do this," but just gonna keep plugging away at it. Really, I enjoy it, and yeah, work with that.
Yeah. And then you released your first you're recording your first video, and you're so nervous about it, and then it just gets launched and you're like, "Oh, well, here we go."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it takes time, doesn't it, to get
Yeah.
confident on camera. I feel like I've improved a lot already, and I've been practicing 3 or 4 months. It's still enough time to see some improvements, which is good, you know. But the
Yeah.
first video,
Well,
when you first video, you just feel, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this, but slowly start feeling a little bit more confident, which is good.
what does your sobriety toolkit look like today?
Today, I'd say, again, like I said, I really thrive on structure and good routine. I mean, I don't feel like now I'm at a stage where I want to use or go into relapse. I feel like I'm way beyond that. For me now, it's just about continuing to rebuild my life. Obviously, I moved here starting from scratch, so I'm in that kind of stage of it now, just life rebuilding and going from there, studying, routine, structure. And I still have a therapy session check-in, but it's like 30 minutes once a month. And, you know, the guy I work with, I've worked with him for a few years. He's really happy with my progress. He said, doing great. So check in with him the odd time. But yeah, really, I don't feel like I need to be doing, like meetings or anything like that. I
I
feel
mean, you
like
found what you found
yeah,
what you.
Yeah, just keep doing work on myself, and goals as well. Having goals, ambitions, and being able to work towards them is great, because when you're in active addiction, all that stuff goes out the window.
Yeah.
Goes out the window, and so yeah,
If someone listening is on day 3 of a binge right now, they're heart racing, paranoid, shaking, what
yeah.
would you want to say to them directly?
So I'd say not to give up, because when you're in that state, it's very easy to think you can't get out of it. I say, if I can come back from where I was, anyone can do it. It can be done. You've just really got to find a way that's going to work for you. That's what it is, I think, getting clean and sober. Find what is going to work for you. Whether that's rehab, 12 steps, coaching, there is a way out of it.
Yeah. I really have been emphasizing the word want when it comes to sobriety because,
Mm,
we can do all these things like you tried before you left. We can try all these things, but I think ultimately it comes down to how bad do we want it and how bad are we willing to work for it?
Yeah, yeah, 100% right on that. I think the change has to come from within, It really
Yeah.
does. And I think I noticed when I was here, when I went to rehab, there was a lot of people there who maybe their families have, pushed them in to go in. They didn't really want to be there. I think ultimately, yeah, the changes, you've got to want it. But at the same time, you've got to have the right support as well. I'm seeing it's a combination.
Yeah. So you had your therapist as your support
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you moved.
he was good to check in with. I had him pretty much every week when I got here, but gradually as time's gone on, we haven't had as much stuff to really talk about. He's really happy with the way I've been doing, doing progress. So yeah, gradually just been meeting new people as well, like meeting new connections at the gym, stuff like that, and that's helped massively as well.
Is it jujitsu that you do?
Yeah, yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And that really helps you stay focused?
Yeah, I mean, before, pretty much my whole life before, I had a business based around it, very much into that. I've traveled the world really doing that quite high level. For now, I just train a couple of times a week. I coach a little bit, just have more a part-time role, which I really like. I really enjoy. I don't want to base my whole identity around that sport anymore. Just enjoy it and enjoy other things as well to keep in shape. Kettlebells, hiking, enjoy a
Mhm.
mix.
Yeah. Kettlebell. I know another person from New Zealand. I just talked to you about this,
Yeah.
and he's really big into kettlebell training over there.
Yeah, so beneficial. And do like a good 20-minute circuit on them, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
Kettlebells are like very, very easy to use and a good
Absolutely.
workout.
Great way to keep in shape. I mainly do a lot of that bit of body weight training as well, a lot of pull-ups, push-ups, all that kind of stuff.
Thinking back to where you were right before we started recording, you said you're still pretty much shocked that you're here, right? You were at a point where, you were on the path to death.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I would have said if I'd stayed, if I left in the November, I reckon maybe a couple of months, something would have happened. I was that badly off the rails, and the amounts of cocaine and alcohol were just getting more and more. So, yeah. And it was to the stage as well where, like, my neighbors were calling the police, not because I'd done anything wrong, but they were concerned about my welfare.
Oh.
So I was getting, like, police coming to the door to check on me. They check on my welfare, check I was okay. And that was when I knew I was like, I've got to get out of this environment. Like, this is not gonna end well at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so scary. And I think a lot of us wait too long before we do make a change.
Yeah, definitely. Thing is with it, change is uncomfortable, isn't it? I remember
Mhm.
there's another therapist I worked with, and worked with him for a few months, and he always said, change is, this is going to be uncomfortable, Lee. He said, if you want to make a change, it's supposed to feel uncomfortable.
What would you say to someone that wants that change but doesn't know where to start? Where did you start?
I think everyone needs some kind of support with that level of change. I think it's just what kind of support is going to suit that person. It could be a rehab. For some people, it does work. It might be 12 steps, be a coach, therapist. I think everyone going through that level of change, it needs some support. You can't do it on your own. You need
Yeah.
something.
But like for you, how did that transition happen overnight? I'm gonna get sober in 2 weeks and leave for New Zealand. What did that transition look like in that What did getting all that together look like for you?
Do you mean before I went to New Zealand? Yeah, I mean, so like I said, I had that initial 2 weeks clean and sober. I remember having that last flat just been a complete mess, like beer bottles everywhere. It was just like living in a drug den. And that's when, yeah, I was like, I've got to get out of here. New Zealand had been in the back of my mind for a while, so it wasn't just a rash decision. I had researched it a little bit, and it was something that was in the back of my mind. And I just booked the flight it was the end of November. I booked it, sorted out some accommodation, had a room sorted, and yeah, I just went with that. I knew that was my last chance. Really, it was 100% my last chance. Yeah, I was confident on that. I have to take this, and I think as soon as I booked the flight, I knew I had something to work with. I
Yeah.
knew I had something to work with. The environment I was in had no chance, but I knew New Zealand would potentially offer me something and give me a chance.
And it's probably better weather there.
Yeah, it's much better weather. The UK is pretty miserable, and I love the outdoors, hiking, been outside. So it's definitely much better for that better lifestyle.
Yeah. So you get to be more active because the weather's nicer. And I mean, I'm not saying that you can't be active where it's rainier and
Oh,
colder, but I mean,
yeah, yeah.
especially for you changing your whole entire environment, I think that's a huge, you went somewhere where you can actually put the change to use.
100%. The New Zealand environment is, for me, it suits me a lot better than the UK. Stuff like UK has got, it's always dark evenings in the winter, and here you've got lot longer days here, brighter days, and it does make a difference to your mood and stuff like that. So all these little things do add up, I guess.
They do. They do. What are some physical changes that you've noticed since you got sober?
Loads. I'd say, like, going back a year, I looked like grey with my complexion, and my eyes looked terrible. I looked like what I was. I was an addict at the time. And so, yeah, physically, I'd say my skin looks better, eyes look a lot better, leaner. Just, yeah, because I'm consistent with my training now as well. When I was deep in addiction, I train hard for a couple of weeks, then I'd miss a couple of weeks because I'd be recovering. Whereas now all my training sessions, I'm super consistent. And obviously, when you're consistent, you look in better shape, which is good. So,
Consistency is key to anything, right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so you got leaner and your skin got back to color.
Yes, skin started to look better because, my sleep was terrible back then as well. Out of, say, the 7 days during the week, 2 or 3 of those, I'd be up all night. So, yeah, that's making your skin looks terrible, your eyes look awful.
So you're sleeping much better nowadays.
Sleep much better now, and yeah, just even sometimes now when I look in the mirror and I see my eyes, I think, God, my eyes haven't looked like this before. I used to seeing them all like, yeah, just not seeing them because it looked terrible going back a year. I'll ping you a picture of me from a year ago to your email later, and you can see the difference.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
And then the emotional, mental piece of it, have you noticed huge changes in that also?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel a lot less kind of shame in myself now. I was in this constant state of shame because of my, behaviors and addictions. Whereas now, I feel a little bit more pride in myself because obviously I've been clean and sober a year, carry myself a lot differently. Stuff like my communication with people is a lot better. Like in-person interactions, feel confident, more relaxed. Used to feel on edge all the time. Yeah, because of my, old behaviors and the alcohol, the cocaine use. Never felt present. I was always preoccupied.
Being present there's so much to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think people realize that until they actually get and stay sober, how much you're missing out on your own life. And just, especially if you're a parent or have kids, grown or still young, just being present is huge. You can go do things and you're actually there. You're not just this wall. You're not just a physical shell, right? You're mentally and emotionally there now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of them things you have to feel for yourself. You can tell someone, but once you start building up that clean and sober time, it's stuff that starts to come back and you feel it for yourself. It's like, wow, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's,
It's
it's
just,
great.
I love that you have a channel and you talk about so many other different things also, the behavioral issues. And I think I saw a porn title, porn addiction,
Yeah,
sex
yeah, yeah.
addiction, cocaine. I mean, you kind of hit a lot of areas that some of these channels don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still learning on this as well. Still learning to speak on camera, put my message across. I'm like, I call myself, I'm a white belt in YouTube at the moment. I'm talking jiu-jitsu terms. I'm a white belt, you know, and I'm learning. Hopefully getting better, and I'll gradually learn to, you know, express the topics I want to in a better way. It all takes time, doesn't it? That,
Oh,
but
yeah. I mean, I'm
but
still learning.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's a long game, but
I think we always are learning. We're entrepreneurs. We're gonna mess up, but that's where our growth comes from, is screwing up. I think oh my gosh, what is his name? I think he's a British guy. He does podcasts and he interviews these doctors. Oh my gosh, totally. He got popular after he did a complete screw up interview. I just saw that the other day, and he went viral after a video mess up. And it's like, you know what? Like, our mess ups and our learning curves, we're brave, right? We're being vulnerable. We're the brave ones putting ourselves out there,
he is.
willing to stumble
Yeah.
on our words and not be perfect. Nobody's perfect. And we just have a message to get across, right? And we're here to help people and show people that there's a whole different life outside of addiction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's a difficult thing to do, putting yourself out there like that in, you know, making a YouTube channel and talking about the kind of stuff that we're talking about. It's quite deep, vulnerable stuff, isn't it? So yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. I mean, and there's still tons of things that I don't share out of respect for my family, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big world out there. And for those of us that are willing to share and change people's lives just with one story, one point in this podcast that you made, maybe it hits somebody just right. And they're like, oh, well, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
that's what we're here
absolutely.
for.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So they can find you on Sober Strength on YouTube. I think the is at Sober Strength Academy,
Yeah, that's
but
correct. I'm sure. Yeah.
the main page is Sober Strength, and we'll put that in the description so people can go find you.
Thank you for having me on here. Yeah, it's been really cool.
I couldn't be here without you guys. So thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it.